Diane. I'm going to mix book chat up today a little bit because I'm going to tell you about two authors. One is Clive Cussler. I read The Final Option this week, and it's a book of the Oregon Files. There's 15 books by Clive Cussler on Overdrive if you want to try them while we're closed, one of which is from the Oregon Files, and the others are from his various other series. Although Clive died in February, these might well continue because he wrote a lot with co-authors, and so they may continue, just like Lee Childers handed over to his brother. Years ago, Dick Francis handed on to his son Felix Francis. I think there's a possibility they may continue, but if not, he's got a huge back catalogue, so you've got plenty to read along the way. The other author that I'm going to talk about today is called Nora Roberts, and the one that I've read of hers is The Obsession, and this is kind of a psychological, a suspense story with some romance along the way, so quite varied really. So anyway, we'll go back to The Final Option. This comes across really perhaps as the last book in the series because some things happen that make you think that's the end of the group because they've got nowhere to live, etc. But then at the end there's a little teaser and you think, oh, maybe not. So all of Juan's enemies get together and they're trying to get rid of him so that they can take over and make a lot of money by doing various evil things. It's a fantasy really. Juan has lost his leg at the beginning of the series when he's fighting off some Chinese pirates, I think. So the bottom of his leg. So he has a false leg, and that false leg, he has numerous false legs, and he's got like his exercising false leg, his in disguise false leg, and he can put guns in there so people don't find out he's got a gun with him. He's put bombs in there, he's put all sorts in there, ceramic knives when he's had to go through special testing to make sure that he hasn't got anything with him. He's smuggled in all sorts of things in his leg, and he's usually caught, and quite often they have to come and rescue him, and they paraglide in or they submarine in, they blow things up, they run around fighting each other. They're real page turners, and it is a complete fantasy. I mean, they're part of this corporation, they're all given money to be able to make their quarters the way they like them. Juan has chosen a Casablanca theme for his, and at the end of each operation he sits back, another good job, well done, smokes a cigar. So a bit like the A-Team really. So I would recommend it as a page turner. It holds your interests, you don't really think about anything else while you're reading them, you can just lose yourself in the story. This one, Nora Roberts, The Obsession, as I say, she's a prolific writer. She writes as Nora Roberts, and they're often romance novels, but sometimes they're based around witches and magic and things like that, but there's also a bit of romance in them. The Obsession is a standalone novel. As I say, I would say it's kind of a psychological suspense kind of drama, because it starts with a young girl who finds something out which kind of splits a family completely apart. It's how they pick up their pieces, what happens along the way, and in the second part of the book, it's the woman that she grows into has to face up to something that comes back from her past to haunt her. Again, it's a real page turner. She keeps the suspense going all the way. You don't guess who it is who's involved in any of the things that are going on. So from that point of view, she's a really good writer. She writes under various pseudonyms, Nora Roberts. She also writes ones under the pseudonym J.D. Robb, and they're kind of police procedurals, I would say, but they're set in the future, so they're kind of futuristic. So they go to Mars, they go to other planets, and there's special jails on Mars, so that they go, if the really bad criminals go off planet. So as I say, she writes lots of different books. If you start reading them and you like the way she writes, you've got a lot of choice. You have a lot of choice from the two of them. I don't always just read these page turners. I'm also reading Surprised by Joy by C.S. Lewis, but it isn't quite such a page turner, although it's very interesting. It is a slower read. So if you want to just have a bit of fantasy, a bit of escapism, switch off your brain and go into a completely different world, I would recommend either Clive Cussler or Nora Roberts. If you've read any of their books, please let me know. If you don't like them, if you do like them, which series you like the best, I'd be pleased to hear about it. And as I say, if you look on Overdrive, you'll find lots of books on there. And if you like these authors, you'll also find recommendations of people who write like them. So it's a useful thing to use while we're closed. So I hope you enjoy it and this has been useful. Bye.